Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel For Goodness Bakes, where we try to make baking easy and accessible for everyone. Today we'll be making some burger buns, and these are quite easy to make even though they are a bit time taking. We are making this using the Japanese process of making tangzong, which is a sort of basic roux, and using this in the bread dough gives it a more soft and fluffy texture. So we start off with 2 tablespoons of flour, 3 tablespoons of milk and 3 tablespoons of water, and we stir it continuously until it is completely lump free, and then we put it on a medium low flame and just heat it while stirring continuously. And over time you'll see that all the water is reduced completely and it sort of forms into a soft dough like texture. So as you can see, I'm stirring continuously and this has now come together, just starting to come together, and finally at this point we switch off the flame and form it into a ball and let it cool down. And once it is cooled down, only then we can start off the bread making process. So right now we'll set it aside to rest. You can leave it overnight or even just 10 minutes in a freezer would work, which is what I did for my dough. So once your tangzong or the roux is cooled, we start off with the bread making process, the actual buns. So we start with 220 gram all purpose flour, and to that I have added 30 grams of gluten. If you don't have gluten, you can just go with the all purpose flour or maida, and this also works perfectly, but when you use gluten it just gives the bread a better texture. So using gluten would be preferable, but it is not compulsory to use. And then we add 4 grams of salt and 4 grams of yeast. While adding those, we have to make sure that the salt and yeast don't touch, because salt kills off yeast. So just put it on different sides of the bowl. After that, add 15 grams of sugar and finally 200 grams of milk and bring it all together. And before I forget, also add the tangzong we prepared earlier, and then you can start bringing it all together. You can use a electric beater to do that with a dough attachment, of course, and if not, you can just use a wooden spoon or even with your hand. Whatever method you prefer, you can go with that, but you have to form it into a dough like texture. You have to form it into a ball. So once the dough has come together, then it begins the most important part of the bread making process. So it is at this point we have to knead it continuously for at least 5 to 10 minutes, because the more you knead the dough at this stage, the better your end result will be. And it is at this point that we'll also add the 50 grams of butter that we have measured out, and this just gives a richer consistency. So it is better to use a proper room temperature softened butter. Mine was a bit hard, so I'm just having to break it down with my fingers and then try to work it in. But if you have a properly softened butter, it will be easier to do. So I've just taken my scraper. So when you knead the dough, it starts to stick to the counter. Just bring it back together with the scraper and continue kneading. If the dough gets a bit too much to handle, then you can just beat it against the counter for a few times, and what it does is that it activates the gluten, so you'll have less sticking. So whenever it starts to stick, just take your scraper, bring it all together and tap it on the counter a few times. That will make the whole process far easier. So just knead it in a back and forth motion and do this for at least 5 minutes, and it is better to go up to 8-10 minutes, whatever is easier for you, but minimum of 5 minutes is necessary. And This is what I'm doing right now, as you can see. Over time you can see that the dough is becoming more smooth, and earlier it had a rough texture, but now you can see that when I form it into a ball, it is completely smooth. So once the dough has come together, I leave it to rise on the counter for about 1 hour to 1.5 hours. It can take anywhere between that time depending on the weather in your area. Mine took 1.5 hours completely. So I'll just put it in the bowl that I was using earlier and cover it with a damp kitchen cloth so that it doesn't dry out, and I'll just leave it on the counter to let it rise until it becomes double in size. So as you can see, mine has become completely double in size, and it took 1.5 hours. So now I'll just put some flour on my counter and then bring out the dough. I'll punch all the air out, and then I'll bring it on the counter and knead it again. So the rising process has helped the dough ferment, and now I'll just knead it again to see that the gluten has been completely activated. At this point, we'll do a window pane test, which is about taking a pinch of dough between your fingers and stretching it out, and if it doesn't break, then your gluten has been completely activated and your dough is ready to use. But as you can see, mine broke, so I kneaded it for another few minutes, and then again we'll do the window pane test, and if the dough doesn't break, then it is ready to go to the next process. So when I pinch it between my fingers and stretch it out, it doesn't break, and so my dough is ready to be used. So at this point, since I am making some buns, so I'll divide it into 6 equal dough balls and shape it into buns. So just divide it equally using your scraper or even a knife if you don't have a scraper. Divide it into 6 equal sizes. Try to ensure that all the balls are equal in size, at least relatively equal, because if one is too big and one is too small, they will bake at different times, and that would make for uneven baking and your results would not be as good. So just try to ensure that all of them are at least similar in size. Once you have the 6 dough balls of equal size, take one of them in your hands and try to pull it in a downward motion so that a smooth top is left, and pinch the bottom together so that there is no open seam. And then just take the ball that you have formed and move it between the palms of your hands until it becomes completely smooth. You can see what I am doing on the screen. Once you have all the dough balls ready, take some steel rings and put it on a baking tray, and we'll place the dough between those steel rings. And if you don't have a ring or any mold of this sort, just take some aluminum foil and we'll make a basic mold out of this aluminum foil. So just make a ring as I'm showing on the video, and this works perfectly well. These molds ensure that the buns are not baking in a lopsided manner. It helps the buns hold their shape during the baking process. Once I have all my dough in the steel rings on the baking tray, I'll leave it to rise again for just 30 minutes. For the second rise also, we'll cover it with the damp cloth so that dough doesn't dry out. And once it has risen for the second time, we'll brush it with some milk. This helps the bun get the wonderful golden brown color. And after we have brushed it with milk, we'll sprinkle some sesame seeds on top of the dough balls. And now the buns are ready for baking in a preheated oven. So we'll bake these at 200 degrees Celsius for 25 minutes. And after that, they'll be ready to be enjoyed. As you can see, the buns have come out of the oven and they have a wonderful golden look. These are soft and so fluffy. Right now we'll leave it on the counter to cool for another 15-20 minutes before we cut into it. I'll be using these buns to make some amazing burgers, and we'll show you that in the next video. So subscribe to our channel if you want to see more baking videos like this. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you.